And you can always get quicker, but you can't always get faster. And running on Tuesday, I said, well, I feel pretty good. I've stretched out for about 2 hours pretty good. And I told my coaches back home I felt good about it. And I ran a 4.4 my first time. I think I might have been in 10th grade in high school. And I ran a 4.46. And since then, I've been putting down 4.4 since then. And I don't I have the big head. I'm just blessed with speed, and I know where it comes from. It comes from the Lord. And my dad played some in Jacksonville State, and my mom, she was also pretty fast. And she went to Ball State, and she about walked on the track team back then. But both of them was more focused on school and playing sports and things like that. So, like I said, I felt pretty good on Tuesday, and I figured I could put down a 4.4. And I was really shooting 4.43. Some coaches got a 4.3, and when I saw 32 teams there and different scouts get different times, and then they'll just had it all up and come out with a 4.42. So it felt pretty good, though. It really did.
Auburn walk-on Blake Poole on the line with us. And, Blake, you're from Buchanan, Georgia. Just give us a little background. What did you play in high school, and how did you end up at Auburn as walk-on?
Well, in high school, I played wide receiver. I was an all-state wide receiver. Coaches Association, I think I made the all-state team my junior year. I played through 10th grade through my senior year, and I played growing up as a kid in Buchanan. We're a small town in northwest Georgia, right above Bremen, Georgia. It's right off Interstate 20. And it's real small. When I grew up farming, my dad used to be a Georgia State Trooper, and Dwight Howard, his dad was a state trooper with my dad, and he coached track. And so my dad would drive around 50 miles 5 days a week and take me to a summer track practice with Coach Howard. And I did that and got faster, but back then I'd done distance, and I've always been outside farming and riding tractors and things like that. So I've been a pretty active person outside all my life. But Canada's a small town, and I went to Haralson County High School. And like I said, I played wide receiver, and I started in 10th grade. And coming up through school, my test scores wasn't that well in high school. And I had a scholarship offer from Tennessee Tech, Jacksonville State, and Eastern Kentucky, and Florida State, Middle Tennessee State. And they was on me pretty bad, but my test scores, they were so low. And so I wound up getting 3 of my scholarships Poole right before signing day. And that right there was just like a wake-up call and going through something tough. That was real tough. But I went to a prep school in North Carolina called North Carolina Tech. I went up there for about 6 months. I got my scores up. And after I made a 23 on my ACT, I came back home and there were still no scholarships on the table. So after that, Auburn called me and asked me to walk home. And at first I didn't want to come because I couldn't stand Auburn. I was a huge Georgia fan, real big. And after coming down to Auburn and looking at the campus, and this was Coach Chiswick's first spring, and I came down and met with Coach Boat, and Coach Boat, and he was over on the walk-on stand. And so I came down for a visit, and I'm a big ag guy. I love to farm, and that's my first passion. And I knew Auburn had a great ag school, so I came down to Auburn. Hey, I tell you what, I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. The people down there, they were real super nice. And so I walked on in Auburn my freshman year, and my first game I played in was Ball State. And that was real special because my mom went to school there. And so I went there. I got to play in that game, and that was our third game in 2009. I played on punt return. I played down on the line trying to block somebody. And then I redshirted, and then I went through spring practice and summer workouts. And right before our 2010 season, the NCAA penalized me. They red flagged me because my scores jumped too high. And there's some kind of rule now. It's like some kind of sliding scale. If you jump so many points, they'll red flag you. And we fought that. So they made me sit out 2 seasons. I tell you what, I about quit school and came on back home. But my professor, Dr. Wheeler Foshee and Boyd Brady, and along with my parents, they taught me in not to quit. And so I stayed down there. And as I stayed down there, like I got to meet, more people, I got to really be a student and have more time on my hands and venture out and join clubs, Block and Bridle in Auburn. I tell you what, and that really touched my life right there. I grew closer to God like I used to be, and the Lord really, He built me and shaped my character into a better Christian young man. And I know football can only take me so far, and just enjoying those 2 years off. I mean, same time I couldn't watch football for 2 years, and I just couldn't stand to do it, and it just hurt so bad. But I finally got cleared going into the 2012 season. I got back to summer workouts, spring workouts, and then went through summer camp, and I played in 1 game that year, and I was always frustrated and mad that I wasn't playing. I was just always been out of shape, but it turned out well.
It definitely did, and what a season this past year was. We got Blake Poole on the phone with us. Out of 17 players this past Tuesday at Auburn's Pro Day, he ran the 40-second dash in 4.42 unofficially, and amazing times there. He also jumped a 38-inch vertical and had 20 reps at 225 at 5'10", 183 pounds. Outstanding numbers. Blake, talk about Coach Malzahn. Talk about this weight program that Auburn has, because it seems that all of our players are putting up better times and better numbers up and down the line.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Malzahn was there during my time there at Auburn, my first stint, and I could always tell Coach Malzahn was going to be a head coach one day, because Coach Malzahn, he's a real classy guy, and he's not one of them coaches that tell you something and then do something different. He's straightforward. And one reason why I think Coach Malzahn will be so successful is because he coached high school ball all those years, and he can relate to high school players and high school coaches, and he can get down on your level and talk to you like a normal human being. And Coach Malzahn makes you feel like you're important. It doesn't matter if you're a walk-on starter. Coach Malzahn is a real class act, and he built his staff around Christian men. Guys like Coach Cheese, and that's Coach Harbison, Coach Smith and Garner, and just the whole staff, Coach Lashley. And he's built a Christian staff, and they talk about the Lord all the time and about trying to be a man after life. And one thing we do down there in Auburn, we have something called Men Night, a manhood. And Coach Gunn runs that, and it talks about the importance of playing the father role and being a good husband and just being an overall man. And that right there, that's going to better us in life, because so many guys go through college and things like that, and they tend to just focus on football, but there's life after football. It's so hard going pro. You've got only 32 teams, and you got like 1 million college teams, and it's only a 53-man roster. And Coach Malzahn, he's just done an awesome job. He pays close attention to details, and he's real detail oriented, and he's always talking about being on time and being responsible and using your influence in a positive way that you have at Auburn, and not only at Auburn, but back at home and where you go. Carry yourself like an Auburn man and like an Auburn person. And I think Coach Malzahn is going to be very, very successful being there at Auburn and her weight program. And Coach Russell has done a fantastic job bringing in a good staff, and he's got a plan for us each and every day. And each plan we do, we build each week and get better and better. And on Wednesdays, we got something like a recovery day where we go in there and stretch out and get in the cold and hot tub and contrast and things like that. And Coach Russell, he's young, he's energetic, and he's real fiery. And we've got so many new modern things that we do down there in the weight room. And I think Coach Russell was one of the best strength coaches in the whole country, if not the best. And Coach Russell don't have the name recognition yet, like the coach from down there at LSU or Alabama. But I think once we start recruiting some of these real good guys for Coach Malzahn's staff, then you'll start to see it, because Coach Russell got results. And you'll get those results each weekend. And we're getting less guys that's getting injured and hurt and getting nagging injuries and things like that, because he's just real modern at what he does, and everything we do down there, it benefits us so much better as athletes. And whether that's flexing, mobility, and just getting faster. And like I said, either you're fast, and either you're born with it or you're not. And you really can't do nothing too much about it. But our pro day, we had so many guys to run, 4.5s and things like that. And some of those guys ran like a 4.6 or 4.7, and they got better in that 6-week span that we trained for. And we've also got guys that's made tons of gains in the weight room and getting bigger and everything. And I was just talking to my uncle, and he said, man, last time I came down here, some of these guys wasn't that big, and now you look at them now, and they're huge. And that just goes to show you.
You can definitely tell the difference, Blake. I mean, you can look at the players, and you can look at the times, and you can just tell. And you had one of the better pro days that we've had, and we want to thank you for being on with us. We're up against another break, and Blake, good luck to you, buddy. We hope that your NFL dreams come true. If they don't, it sounds like farming will be in your future, and we need some good farmers here in the South, don't we?
Well, yes, sir, we sure do, and thank you so much for the phone call. It means a lot to me.
Thank you so much. That's Blake Poole, who was a former walk-on at Auburn and had an outstanding pro day and just a wonderful man, and Andy and I will talk about it a little bit as we come back. Good Auburn man out there, and we'll take your phone calls, 888-9-TIGER-9. More of the Tuesday edition of Sports Call right after this.